Imagine if the value of marketing was clear, celebrated, and drove extraordinary customer happiness. Amazing, right? Well, we're making that vision a reality, and we want you to be a part of it. Modern marketers like you help customers discover the products, services, and experiences that make their lives better every day. Our obsession is making your life easier, and while we're at it, a little more fun. Whatever business you're in, Acton's growth marketing platform can help you grow it while delivering great experiences and driving customer engagement. The Acton platform empowers you to create smart engagement strategies for everything you sell. Wherever your vision takes you, we have the solution to help you get started, build traction, and grow your business. We believe customers are more than just leads, and marketing is more than just jamming leads through a funnel. It's about accelerating your customers from acquisition to awesomeness.
Please welcome our next speaker, Adam Halbeck, a pre-sales architect. Today he'll be presenting his session, Engage Intelligently, D365 Customer Insights and Marketing. Stick around after Adam's session for a live Q&A.
Hey everyone, welcome. So happy you could join us. If you've been paying attention to all the other sessions that have been going on, wow, talk about content, amazing content from a really strong community. So, for this session here, we're going to be talking about Dynamics 365 Marketing and Dynamics 365 Customer Insights and how we can use those tools to engage intelligently. So we're talking marketing, we're talking customer segmentation, we're talking the tools of the trade to be able to give a little bit more intelligence to how we engage our audiences and the people that are in the mix. And it doesn't have to be, just a static list of folks we're sending an email blast to or anything like that. But how can we actually be more strategic about, because we just have so much data across an enterprise or, at our organizations respectively. How can we use that? How can we be information rich as well as data rich? So today we are talking about how we do that, the toolbox that we have and what we can draw from, how we can bridge this gap between a customer data platform, customer insights, and D365 marketing, the more tactical tool to be able to execute on this. So about me, my name is Adam Halbeck. I'm a pre-sales architect at Stone Ridge Software, and I've been focused on D365. Before that, Dynamics CRM, any dotted line peripheral technologies, Azure and Business Central, and some of the more ERP-focused tools and platforms for quite some time. So, very passionate about this myself, and every single day I'm living in the Power Platform. I'm living in first-party applications. So, this is a big passion of mine, and passion of the whole team. But it's really cool to to get to live this and be immersed in this every day, every week. So, in terms of what we're going to cover today, before I do that, huge shout out to DynamicsCon and huge shout out to everybody that voted, everybody that went out. There was so many. The content was great to go through, and I tried not to be too paranoid about it. Checking every day. Regardless, this is going to be a fantastic slate. So I'm hoping you're having a great time, and and really getting around to different tracks. We've got Business Central, customer engagement, Power Platform, lots to jump into. So go get out there. In terms of the overall agenda and the big rocks and some of the focus areas that we're going to be getting hands-on with today, we've got our D365 marketing overview. So just understanding a little bit about the major capabilities, what that looks and feels like, as well as then I have a couple of in focus areas here. So when we think about engaging intelligently, when we think about how we segment our audience and how we segment our customers, or potential customers, what does that look like? What are the mechanics of building, that group of people within marketing? So the other side of the spectrum here is looking at Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. So sort of a new tool on the block in the Dynamics suite, but looking at Customer Insights as that true enterprise customer data platform. So number one, what the heck is a customer data platform? That is a slightly newer term when it comes to all of our Dynamics apps, first-party apps, and all of our tools. So we'll break down what that means a little bit before then jumping into our customer insights toolbox. So getting a feel for seeing the ins and outs of orchestrating data and pulling all this stuff in meaningful ways. Given that we don't have a whole day, because this definitely could be a whole day session, we're going to keep it higher level and really focus on that segmentation, just like we see in D365 marketing. So building that audience, because we're eventually going to tie them together. We're going to be exporting our customers and our segment data to D365 marketing. So to round things out, I do want to drill a little bit more detail into the export destinations at our fingertips. It's not just directly to Dynamics 365 marketing, it's also to Azure Blob Storage, or even competitors, traditionally known like Marketo or other enterprise marketing platforms. So there are a lot of connectors and tools we can use to push this segment data or audience data into various marketing suites. So we'll be able to see that and then really tie it together from an end-to-end perspective. We've got our segments from Customer Insights. We've got our segments that we're going to be pushing to in D365 Marketing. How then can I use that with the campaign automation tools that we have within the application? So D365 Marketing, I want to make sure, just because we may have people that are super advanced, they've been around the block, they know the vocabulary, the vernacular, they understand how everything fits together. We might have some people that are jumping in fresh. So just to level set on what D365 marketing is all about, obviously we're talking about Dynamics 365, the customer engagement umbrella. We're looking at, we've got our field service and sales and customer service. Well, one of those first party applications is D365 marketing. And pretty straightforward. It's all about enabling our marketers. It's about engaging. It's about using email automation, campaign automation, social posts, a number of different tools to engage, to cast the net. So some of the main features that you'll see and that we'll be able to peek at when we jump into the system, we've got our audience building tools. So we have robust segmentation. We have the traditional email marketing. We have a ton of templating capabilities. Full disclosure, we're not going to be looking at all of these tools today. I mentioned earlier, hey, if we had a whole day, let's do it because that's so fun. But we're really going to be focusing on the segmentation and the campaign automation. So once we have an audience, once we have an intelligent audience built, what do we then do with it? Where does it fit? And how can I use some of the automation tools that we have in D365 marketing to market effectively? So those are the two main focus areas, but you can see a bunch of other bullet points here. We've got lead scoring, we've got custom scoring models. We can plug into LinkedIn if we're using, lead gen forms from that social channel. And we have extensibility, so we can build custom connectors, and webinar providers can come into the mix as well. But this is just a sample of some of the capabilities that we have within the system. Now, to give a little body to that, what I'll do is flip over to our D365 marketing application. And this is branded a little bit. You can see we've got our Dynamics Con theme up top. But when I go into the system, I like to start people off with a dashboard. So these are just a few out of the box dashboards that we have, customer journey. So this is a little rundown on our campaign automation performance. We've got some others that are in the mix here as well. But you'll see we've got our main navigation bar up top. We're not going to go through all of these features, but I do want to call out on the left-hand side. So if I zoom in a little bit over here, we can see that things are kind of grouped. So, you can see my work here. You can see customers. So we've got these logical groupings of everything in the sitemap here in the menu. So when you're going down and taking a look at everything that's in the app, down below, this is where we have our marketing executions. This is where we have the email templates that we're designing and working with and getting published in live. This is where we have our customer journeys, our campaign automation, that visual layout of how we're automating and engaging folks. And then down below, we've got a couple of event pieces. Now, there's a whole down actually in the very bottom left, where we have these modules here. There's a whole robust event management. There's a whole module dedicated to low-level event management. So not just what is the name of the event and when is it taking place, but full registration information, a lot of tables on managing sponsors, and we have our tie-in to Power Apps portals for event registration. We can even go down low level enough to room layouts for AV setups. So not going to cover that today, but do know that there's a very robust event management piece of this application as well. A little further down, we've got our internet marketing, so web forms and landing pages and things that we'll be integrating with our email blasts. Assets, so if you've got files, you've got images, how do we organize those? How do we manage those and load those in? And then I mentioned, hey, templates. There are a ton that are in here. So it's not just about designing email templates. No, we've got the ability to template out those pieces of automation. So a whole end-to-end drip campaign, for instance, or we can template out activities. So when sales needs to follow up on an email open or a link that's been clicked or whatever sort of impression you're really focused on or care about, we can set out these templated activities for folks to land on their plate to then go do. So the ability to not reinvent the wheel every single time we have to go to cast that net, like I mentioned earlier, it's just much easier, much more efficient to work from a template structure, to work from these artifacts. And then further down, we do have the LinkedIn tie-in. So Campaign Manager, the lead gen stuff is down in the bottom left here. And then if I crack this open, yeah, you can see, hey, there's the events, the general settings for domain sync, and just for the overall system down below. Now, what I wanted to show is, we're focused on building a segment. We're focused on intelligent marketing to folks, to targeted lists. So if I go to the left over here under customers, we have our accounts, we have our contacts. Hopefully you're familiar with that data structure, but we're really focused on contact marketing today. So if I click into segments over here, moving away from this dashboard, this is where we have a couple of samples, and I think I have one that's maybe live right now and a couple of drafts. So a couple that are live right now and a draft. So what I'll do is go into this DynamicsCon new segment on the bottom. And when this opens up, I want to give people a feel for how these lists are built and some of the tools, the tool to query within the system to go find those contacts to pull them in. So when this loads up here, and we'll be able to see, the members and manage those if we wanted to, onesie, twosie, add or remove if it were a static list. But what we see right out of the gates here under the segment definition tab is that construct, the build of that query. So what am I looking for? So you can see if I zoom in a little bit here. So what am I looking for? So you identify your primary entity, and if there are, you'll build in your search parameters, right? Your clauses. So this is account contains data. So just anything that has a parent account, very, very simple and straightforward. And then you build in your, the actual, the query. So the body of the query here, I believe here I'm reaching down to, if I duck out of here, we can scoop to related data. So if we wanted to find all contacts that have a parent account that fill in the blank, we can reach up to that parent account. So you can see on the left, This is where we can add the discrete clauses, or we can add a related entity. So for those familiar with advanced find, for those that have been using more advanced querying techniques within Dynamics 365 for some time, this should look pretty familiar. But one of the coolest new features here is, I don't know if you caught it right off the bat, is right up here, right up top, who would you like in this segment? This is a natural language input. So if I hover over this information, this little icon here, we're actually leaning on some of the natural language services that Microsoft has had for some time. I want to say that it's a derivative of Bing, so going to Bing to search, the way we communicate language as an interface is definitely not the same as filling in drop downs and building a structured query within a business application. So one of the newest introductions here is being able to type in a sentence and have that, have the service just break down what you're looking for and plug that into that query for you, which is really slick. Sometimes it's a little off. It's a newer feature here. Just be mindful of that. But it's pretty awesome to be able to lean on just that natural language input versus working in drop downs and being a little bit more methodical. So this is a nice new feature. Now, this right here, very simple structure, and I really just wanted to describe some of the mechanics, and display some of the mechanics of building the query, the tool that we have to do that. Now, when you have your query set, I'll go back to my list. This is just an example, but I'll go back to my list here and pull up another one that we've got. So this is a live segment, or maybe our current customers, just to to show you the members themselves. So if we have our query structured, then we'll have our members, so we can see all of those folks that met the criteria. So they would be able to they'll be exposed under the members tab here. So that gives you a little flavor for the segment building within D365 Marketing, and very akin to, like I said, here's our advanced find. And I can crack open if I kind of focus in here in the top right, we've got our classic, our traditional advanced find that's going to pop open here, or we can use the embedded advanced find that is in right in the view. So this is going to be a very similar tool. Now, that's how we structure the segment. And now we're looking at, okay, well, what does that mean in terms of getting emails out the door to those folks, or getting into campaign automation? So on the left-hand side here, I will go to, under marketing execution, we have our customer journeys here, and these are the bits of automation. These are those tracks that we're sending people down. That that can automate, templating or distributing those tasks, that can automate emails, that can automate some of the more involved pieces here. So just to give a quick rundown or a quick preview of the campaign automation here, I'll jump into our Dynamics Con sample that we have, a splash campaign that's loading up here. We'll throw this into focus mode, go full screen. So it starts when, you can see in the far left, this is that segment, this is that audience. So right here I'm using current customers. This is actually a segment that I generated from customer insights and exported to D365 Marketing. But this is the segment, the audience that we're working with. And you can see we've got, zoom in a little bit, we've got a number of steps along the way. So if you think about this end to end, this is our whole recipe. And these are some of the ingredients that we can use. You can see that we've got an email send right off the bat. We've got, I'm going to run a workflow, down the line here after a number of steps have already been executed. But different flavors, and we've even got conditionals in here, so we can evaluate if something was opened or clicked or what have you. And you can see as I hover over each of, or between those those steps, those tiles, if I zoom in again, you can see those plus signs. So this is where I can inject new steps, new tiles, and if I click on one of those plus signs, we will see the full slate of all of the steps we can take, the actions we can take, the tiles that we have at our fingertips to build into this campaign automation. So here are those activities we discussed. Here's some more advanced actions that we can take. We've also got, like I said before, the evaluation, or if we want to split or branch something out. And just know that when it comes to splitting, branching, slightly more advanced pieces, like in a drip campaign, like we see here, a splash campaign, we can also run things concurrently. So if you keep scrolling down in your designer here, you're going to be able to add swim lanes as you go. So we've covered the simple mechanics of building a segment. So going through and querying, pulling in a list of contacts, we can reach to related data, we have natural language input. And now we're looking at, okay, I've got my list built and I want to throw that audience down, this splash campaign track, so to speak. So we're only looking at the tools that are built directly into D365 Marketing. Now, when it comes to really taking things to the next level, so marketing intelligently and using some more advanced business measures and analytics or segmentation, that's where customer insights comes into the fold here. So what I'll do is pop back to our deck just as a sanity check and keep us in line. So we did the hands-on bit. We're now going to go jump to D365 Customer Insights. But I like to just have the conversation about what a CDP or a customer data platform is first. So you'll hear this pop up. Microsoft is marketing a lot more in terms of looking at a true enterprise customer data platform. It can be a little vague to try to explain, or there are so many acronyms that we have these days, right? So CDP, great, there's a new acronym that I have to remember, but I like to frame it in terms of the questions that we often get asked. What sort of utility or value does a customer data platform really provide? And it usually stems from things like, yeah, but which system is that in again? Do I have to log into that one or this one? And where do I enter this as a source of truth? Or, we've got contacts living in, some customer contacts or data living in 40 different Excel sheets, maybe 2-3 enterprise business apps or databases, maybe a data warehouse somewhere. I really wish I had one place to go. And at the end of all of that, we usually hear help. We need to orchestrate this data. We need to we need to structure this. We need to have a single customer profile, a single customer card, a single customer record. So that's the intent of a customer data platform, is to unify. You'll see that everywhere when you're troubleshooting or jumping into some customer insights build or some marketing material or what have you. Unification. It's all about data unity. So instead of drawing from or managing multiple Excel sheets or multiple data warehouses, or throwing a lot of investment into complex integrations across multiple databases, what have you. This is intended to bring the rhyme and reason to all of the madness there. So to really bring in everything and have a single customer card that does have that global perspective. We often talk about true 360-degree perspectives and viewpoints for all of our customer data. So this is intended to do that for us. It's intended to be that center, that place to orchestrate and unify. So what's really cool is what we'll take a look at when we go jump in a second, is that most of this will be focused on audience insights. So you'll see that second bullet here, audience insights. How can we personalize? What is the persona? How can we enrich this data to build those personas, those profiles for us from a customer perspective? We also have engagement insights, which is really neat. That's more of the telemetry. That's how people are using our services or applications, or more of the customer behavior piece of the puzzle, so to speak. I mentioned, the insights that we have in data enrichment. So we can call on services that Microsoft is providing to pump in preferences or trends. So we've got some back end pieces that we can, or tools that we can use in the mix. And then we do have this full extensibility factor where if we wanted to build custom artificial intelligence or machine learning models within Azure using various languages like R script or Python or what have you, we can do that. So Microsoft likes to say no cliffs. There is no business scenario we can't meet with the tools that we provide you. So this is one of those scenarios. If we're getting to the data science or getting to those more advanced levels there, we'll be able to jump in and we'll have the tool set there within Azure. Not looking at that today, a little bit more of that. Gosh, I don't even know if that's 201 level. That might be even further north than that. And I'm no data scientist myself, but just know that we have a very advanced integration or the ability to jump in and build our own machine learning models. So that kind of gives you the breakdown of, hey, what is a customer data platform? It's about data unity, unifying and consolidating and orchestrating and bringing all of that from across your enterprise, from all of these different tools and data sources. So you have that true customer, the true customer card across all of those disparate data sources. So let's go take a look and go jump into D365 Customer Insights. So I already have the tab open. It's not too fun watching me enter data or open and load tabs. So we do have some things ready to go already. So I'm living in D365 Marketing here, but I'll go to this next tab over. And yes, it's a trial. We have our demo. So you'll see some of these, banners and notifications and whatnot saying, hey, if you want to keep your data and all of your progress, contact sales. But this is the interface for D365 Customer Insights. On the left-hand side, just to kind of start from the highest levels and then work our way down, actually what I'll do is we'll focus on the top right. You'll notice this is a very similar look and feel to, if you're building a flow or you're building a Power App, or this is the Power Platform environment that I'm in. So here I have to really give body to a lot of these different pieces of functionality, it's better to have a lot of data, so we can see all of these counts and segments and business measures and KPIs and whatnot. But just make sure that you're in the right environment. So here I have a manufacturing demo. This has a lot of bells and whistles when it comes to some of these aggregate numbers, and Microsoft pumped in a lot of data there for me, so we can take a look at some cool features today. But for our demonstration to actually get the segment ported to D365 Marketing, I did go ahead and created my own environment. So I do have a Dynamics Con demo that we'll jump into to really bridge that gap here in a few minutes. So you'll notice I'm in my right environment, my correct environment. On the far, far left, this is where we have our audience insights, and then we have, like I said, more of the telemetry. So if I click over to our engagement insights area, this will not be the focus for the demo today or for our conversation, but I just wanted to highlight there is this whole engagement insights wing. So you'll see key metrics. How are people using what we have out there? Do we have anonymous visitors? And which sites are those on? So there is this whole piece of the system that we will not be taking a look at today, but we are going to be focused on the audience insights portion. So we'll click back to the audience insights, and here we can see, just like with all of our applications these days, the left nav. So customer area segments, that's what we'll be focusing on. And then we've got measures, we've got intelligence. So, we mentioned those custom models that we can build, custom machine learning models. But, this looks and feels very simple, but the way that we get this data, the way that we get this very rich data, there's a lot of planning and there's a lot of legwork. And unfortunately, we don't have, a ton of time today to go through that process, to map, to match, to merge all of our data to build custom measures. We've got a few pieces here that we're looking at from a demo perspective, but it's clean and it seems simple, but there is a lot of planning. Just know that, and a few steps to take to get all this data in and get it all set and square. But what I'll show you here is just a simple rundown. To start on our home screen, we've got recent segments. So, of our marketing team or, various marketing BUs that we have across an enterprise are setting up their own segments. They'll be listed in a rolling fashion here. So if I click into any of these, if I go for this first one, for instance, this will be more of a nitty-gritty breakdown of that segment. So we'll see the role over time. We'll see the segment size, and then further down we have our segment members. So we've got our friendly name, full name. You'll see on the left the unique customer ID, and then a few other data points in the mix further down. So these are segments that we have built in customer insights, and we'll get to getting this to marketing in a second. But we've also got not just the segments, but if I go back to that home screen, we have these things called measures. So these are, you can see recent business measures here. If I scroll down and zoom in a little bit, this is where we have these KPIs that we can build. So we can structure simple. This is just a very straightforward count of customers here, and this is a simple sum of total service requests. So tickets, cases that are coming through, but these can get very advanced. So if we go to our main measures area, there's a whole wing of this application to manage, to create new business measures across your enterprise. We can see just a simple slate, a simple sampling of some of those measures that are here. Now, there are other key features, other more advanced pieces to customer insights. I mentioned, building custom ML models under the data tab in the left. So right here, we'll have all of our data sources. So is this an Excel sheet, or is this Dataverse, formerly known as CDS? So if I click into data sources here, we're going to load those up. So here I have just a sample of CRM and ERP data. And then the enrichment that I mentioned earlier, this is where we lean on, I believe, Microsoft Graph to some Microsoft services to bring in brand information, to bring in customer interests based on rich data. So a lot of options here, but this is how we set and really solidify all of the data, that we're bringing into the system. And then our admin, we'll get to these export destinations in a second, but let's go to the segments. And these are customers with service requests, customers who ordered a specific product. And if I click into one of these, it's pretty straightforward. Further down, we can see that list. So, a lot of planning, a lot of legwork to get these segments in place. But once we have our targets, if we're unifying data from across the enterprise, we have all of these customers who are interested in certain products. If I go to the customers area here, just to kind of show you how robust this can really get, again, understanding that this is demo data here, if I just go to Mark's record right up top, front and center Mark, we can get a sense of all of the data we've brought into the system here. So simple information on the far left, contact ID is there, so his unique identifier. Here we have our timeline, so a couple of complaints or cases. Maybe there's some POS data, point of sale system data that we've brought into the system. Here we have a rundown, so we get that timeline. If you're familiar with D365 first-party applications, kind of the same thing. We have our timeline in the middle. And then on the far right, these are actually those enrichment factors, so and you can see in the very, very top right here, where it says profile add-ons, this is where we can bring in those enrichment that enrichment data from the Microsoft services, or activity data if we want to build in this more of this timeline top-down perspective. But this is the customer card here, so our segments are going to be lists of all of these people with all of these interests and all of these intersects between the raw data and some of the intelligence that we're pumping in. So quite a lot. Go check it out if you want to get invested in customer insights. But when it comes to, and I'll go flip my environment here to our Dynamics Con demo. This was simple data that I brought in, did the map match merge process, but from D365 data directly. So this is a lot less. We only have 176 unique customers that are in here, and I have just a single measure of total unique contacts that are in the mix. But this is where if I have my segment ready to go, on the left I can go to the admin area here and go to my export destinations. Now, this is where if we've gone through so much planning, we have our target audiences identified. It's coming from multiple systems and databases across the enterprise. This is where we can now shoot that to marketing or shoot that to Azure Blob Storage. So you can see in the top right, there's Azure Blob. And when I click Setup here, we're going to get that window shade from the right-hand side. You're going to need your name, your account key, your container. So when you set up that storage account within Azure, you're going to have those IDs, you're going to have those keys to bring in and set up. And it's pretty straightforward to be able to link that up. We also have, you can see a few preview features like Synapse. Down below, we even have D365 customer service and sales capabilities to build marketing lists, just raw regular marketing lists. But here's D365 Marketing. So if I click Set Up, this is where I, can go and, you set your URL. So what is the server address? Indicate which customer insights field matches the contact ID. So you'll have all these attributes depending on your data set, and you'll be able to select your, whichever ID you want. You're going to name it D365 Marketing, and away you go. It's nothing too crazy. The nice thing is if you're full Dataverse, this is very, very streamlined. This is very efficient to do. So once that's set up, I can go to, I already have a few that are established here, my export destinations. I have sales. Looked like it didn't actually go through, but we also have our D365 marketing connection. And it really is just as simple as filling in those fields, and then you can sync your segments over, which is awesome. So if we click back over in the top left, top tab, I'll go back into D365 marketing. And if I go down to my segments, we're going to move away from this campaign automation. This current customer segment that we have here, this was generated from D365 Customer Insights. So we have our definition right up front, and you can see if you go to the general tab here, you'll be able to see that it came from D365 Customer Insights. So you can see the segment type, external source, and that's preset for us. And then if you want to go play with that, if you want to adjust or see that data directly, we can click on this link, and that'll open up our tab to shoot directly to that segment within the system. So you can see, hey, what are the customer journeys and pieces of automation we have going on right now in flight. So those will be shown on this first form here too. But it's just really awesome to be able to have this shoot in and have that bridge built, that tie between some of the nittier-grittier data work and unification that we're doing in customer insights, and then have that translate then to a segment that's built into D365 marketing. And that's when we go to our customer journeys and start working with that segment. We already kind of talked about the recipe, right, and the different ingredients that we can have within that end-to-end process. So here I have the splash campaign, I think is the one we were taking a look at. And that current customer segment that we generated in customer insights, that we exported to D365 Marketing is now going to be used in our end-to-end process, in our campaign automation for a number of email sends and for a number of steps along the way. And what's great is that D365 Marketing, it'll tabulate interactions. So if I go to a different journey that's live, that's where we can see those impressions and those KPIs as it's going through. So if I go to this live one here, I'm going to go to Event Reminder. And we'll be able to see, this is just a simple email send, straight, just a one-shot kind of thing. But this is where we'll, on a step-by-step basis, be able to see all of those interactions. So it's going to tell us how many unique clicks we were able to generate. It's going to give us that marketing funnel. So on the right-hand side over here, this is where, we're going to see overall volumes. We're going to see that delivery funnel. My favorite part, such a great feature. If you go down to your delivery KPIs, if you want to very quickly build a segment based just on those folks that were unique opens, hey, we can do that with one click, no less. So you'll see the little segment icon here. When I click unique opens, what it'll do is create a new segment for me that pulls in that query directly. So this is getting into the robustness of working with these segments that are generated from D365 Customer Insights, and how that plays into overall campaign automation. So just really awesome. The seamlessness that Microsoft has thrown into the mix, it's just great. So it's nice to see this come full form and really make a difference for marketers. To recap, we've got just loads of capability when it comes to D365 Marketing in general. We took a look at segment building and querying, some of the features there. We took a look at campaign automation and the end-to-end recipe that we have. We can easily structure those segments in a silo, if we just were using D365 Marketing. But when we throw customer insights to the mix, that's where we have a lot of just rich data to work off of and build those segments and have that seamlessness to take our segments to a new level, a very advanced level, with that rich data. So we can use that to personalize these experiences. We can lean on all of our point of sale data, ERP data, CRM data, Excel data, bring that into a true customer card, build our true customer card segments, and then use those in D365 Marketing to email, engage, personalize, and really get people into the fold from a marketing perspective. So we kind of flew through a lot, but I hope this, it made sense and really, the hand in hand that we have between customer insights and marketing. It's just great to see these days. So just to cap things off, huge thanks to DynamicsCon. It was so fun to be a part of this. It's been wild already this year, but hey, this is really fun stuff to get hands-on with. And an even bigger thanks to you for joining today. Lots of great presenters. So please get out there, check out all of the sessions that we have, or that DynamicsCon has out there between all of the tracks. It's great stuff. I think now we're going to, if you go to the chat, we can open it up for questions if anybody has any. Hey everyone! I hope the breakdown on D365 Marketing Customer Insights was, dare I say, insightful. It's a little strange to watch yourself walk through a few of those pieces, but there were some areas where we kind of had to lean on some of the fundamentals we weren't able to cover in that time. So yeah, I felt like I was doing an okay job keeping up with the questions. Fantastic questions along the way as we were going. But if you have anything else that we want to chat about, to dive into, I already told the team that I won't be presenting any screens right now, which is usually my forte, to jump in, walk and talk, but no sharing today. We'll focus on anything that may have slipped through within the chat. So it's just so awesome to see all of you out here. And Sarah, hey, how's it going? Like Robert and Chad and Alice, these are just awesome questions, awesome engagement. Yeah, and Susan, yes, thank you. I did clean up a little bit for today. If you've got questions on the tie between customer insights and D365 Marketing or any of the other export destinations or functionality that maybe you're wondering out about, Yeah, how did I do it so quickly? Yeah, I just like whipped around the corner here, dressed up, came back to it. But Allison, thanks so much for joining. Mike, and yeah, Susan, great to see you out here. One of the things that came up in the chat was this idea of one thing that came up was like user adoption and training and working with some of the queries. So working with the segment builder and and some of the mechanics that were outlined within the video. So I being upfront about it, I think that there is a little bit of a learning curve when we're talking about that relational database structure, reaching to related data, reaching to related tables, working with those attributes, especially as they become much more complex. We've got a more complex data model. As we keep seeing new features added, we talked a little bit about behavioral data that we can latch onto, or firmographic data that maybe we can bring into the system. So as those data profiles start to get a little bit more complex, using the segment configuration, the segment builder that's in there, it will take a little getting used to work between those levels, to work between those tables. But the one thing I called out in the chat here was the natural language input, that ability to use basically the tech that came from Bing, how we speak and voice as a UI, using some of that technology that came from that space to help out marketers, to help out people on the front end, build those. I want to find all contacts that are, in a certain geo, throw in your, further down the additional layers and relationships. The ability to just put in a simple statement or some, how we normally communicate and speak, and then have that translate to a structured query is powerful. So I expect some optimization there too. So it looks like we've got, how much does it all cost? That's a great question, Chad. I threw a link into the chat here for just customer insights. On the marketing side of it, I believe the tenant base price is $1,500, $1,500 a month as a standalone. But the attached price, I want to say, is $750, somewhere in there. And then there are, if you need to bump up your contact threshold, all of your marketing contacts, as that keeps growing, there are some additional, like add 5 or 10,000 or whatever it is to that pool. And yeah, Allison just included the link, relinked to the CI pricing there. I have can you use customer insights without marketing? Debbie asked this question a few minutes ago. Yes, absolutely. And it looks like Robert followed up. Yeah, you absolutely. And that's actually how I got my teeth cut a little bit with customer insights, was exploring solutions that it was purely a customer data platform or CDP play. The customer that I was working with had like 7, 8, 9, 10 Excel sheets for different service lines, different customers. And they had that, as well as a full D365 sales and customer service implementation with a lot of XRM, a lot of custom build, and an instance of Dynamics AX, I want to say 2012 R3. But yeah, we had just a lot of data living everywhere. And so my very first steps with customer insights was actually just purely customer insights, and no sort of tie into marketing or any marketing automation solutions. Discount for nonprofits. Allison asked if there was a discount for nonprofits out there. Maybe. I want to. My gut is telling me no for customer insights, but I know that Microsoft has been doing a bang up job. Like with the nonprofit accelerator and some of the licensing options that they do have for nonprofits for the other first party apps. Maybe there is some wiggle room to open up that dialogue, but I myself haven't seen anything advertised plainly, bluntly, hey, here's a nonprofit option for customer insights. So I guess I didn't address Chad. I didn't give a profile on how much everything would cost, but assuming you're using D365 Customer Insights, you're using D365 Marketing. I have yet to work with anyone who is using D365 Marketing as a standalone solution. Oftentimes it's being coupled with sales, customer service, other first-party apps. So let's just assume for the sake of the conversation, it's just CI and it's just D365 Marketing. Then that would come to, those are both tenant-based applications, so that's charged per tenant, not per user, per user per month or anything. So standalone, 2,500 a month, I think, 2,000 a month. I would have to see if the D365 Customer Insights application, that CDP, qualifies as, if that would then throw us into the marketing attach pricing, which would be $750 per month. So I would say on the floor, it would be $1,750. Ceiling is $2,500 if I'm doing my math correctly, per month, per tenant. All right, just gonna scour through here and see if we have any other questions. But I think we've tackled everything. I have to say it's so fun. It's so fun to have the feel. I'm a big con goer myself outside of work, so fandom, big conventions that are here and there, and just to even have a little semblance of normalcy again is cool. Just to have that interaction. You all made it a heck of a lot more fun than just kind of talking to a camera. The questions were awesome. Love to see the familiar names and engage, but yeah, what else? If there's anything else, would love to address it. We've got a few more minutes to work with. But George, yeah, the text, building, structuring our segments and those queries with the natural language input is pretty slick. But man, this is awesome. I think if there's nothing else, please, reach out. Would love to chat about. I'm passionate about marketing technology. Obviously, George is in the chat here from Acton, so thank you for some of the commentary, George. Acton, Click Dimensions, D365 Marketing. I've been in a few of those MarTech cookie jars. So if you want to chat about, right sizing and side-by-side comparisons, or you just kind of want to geek out on the customer data platform aspects of the conversation, or anything in between, anything beyond that, I would love to set the time aside. So if there's nothing else, chat, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. Feel free to chat. Let's set up some time. And it doesn't have to be, exploring solutions, just a quick bounce of conversations and questions. Would love to engage. Really would love to. So to kind of put a lid on it, have to say thank you so much, especially those in the chat. You made it a lot more engaging. You made it a lot more fun. So I think I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the day. These incredible sessions, these presentations, the people, the mix, the channel. We have a heck of a channel if we think about it. So this is fantastic, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. And I think we're probably going to wrap the questions now.